Hey, how are you? We're coming to you live from Complete Media, Inc., the finest little agency on the prairie. I'm Dan Ferris.
I'm Michael Williamson. Welcome.
We're going to set off on a mission. See what I did there? See what I did?
You're amazing.
And I don't mean Mission Impossible, and I don't mean missionary work, which I think is fantastic, by the way. If you're not doing missionary work, get out there and do some, would you please? Talking about a company's, a business's mission statement.
Dun, dun, dun. That scares so many business owners.
And a lot of businesses don't have a working, valuable, credible mission statement. They have nothing. And part of the process we go through with everyone we work with, at some point, we're going to go, okay, we need to craft a mission statement because it's beneficial.
But why?
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? And a number of people don't know what it means. I'm not really huge. I haven't done a lot of it in my life, but I was involved in one really good one a few years back. Let me share that with you. We partner with smart business leaders to increase their profits by executing smart marketing strategies.
My goodness. And what business is that?
That would be Complete Media, Inc., Mike.
Wow.
Yup.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It took a long time and a lot of polishing and a lot of editing and a lot of... It came down to, is this one word better than this one word?
Sure.
And we've been happy with it, and we've been using that particular mission statement now for half a dozen years, I guess. So.
But don't get us wrong. We don't want people out there who have yet to develop a mission statement to think that it is that laborious and painful.
Yeah, don't be intimidated.
I mean, don't be. I think that's why a lot of people, everybody understands that when they start a business, that phrase comes up, mission statement. Oh yeah, I got to have that. Well, you know what else? I need to work on my budget. I need to work on all this other things, and the mission statement falls to the wayside. And part of that is because of all the other things that get in the way, but it's also because people think that it's going to be a painful process. And really, we're here today to say you can boil it down into, we won't say easy steps, but 5 basic steps. And if you take this approach, we hope that it will be less intimidating for you. And it'll be actually something that you enjoy, and it can be inclusive of those that you work with, of ownership, of friends and family even. I mean, because sometimes we find that business people, especially the ones that have been doing the business for a while, and we say, it doesn't matter if you've been in business for 10 weeks or 10 years or 50 years. If you don't have a mission statement, it's never too late to develop one. But then the challenge becomes, have you developed a set of blinders so that coming up with that mission statement is a challenge because you're thinking too narrowly? And a mission statement is you're supposed to craft a statement, a communication that speaks to more than just you and the people that you're surrounded by. It needs to have a mass appeal to who? Your target audience.
That's exactly right. And also it doubles, it can double as a great elevator pitch too. Mm-hmm. If someone asks you what you do, for instance, if someone approaches Michael, what do you do? I guess technically we could say, well, we develop marketing plans and strategies, and we can, develop a social media platform and do a website for you and some video shoot and blah, blah, blah. And by, within a minute, that person's going, they've checked out.
Right.
If I say, hey, you know what? We work with smart business leaders and we make them more money. Really? You have my interest.
It's only happened a couple times, but when I've met a stranger at some sort of a social setting and they ask me what I do or where I work, I'm happy to answer that right away. But then they go, what do you do? I pull out my business card, and I don't hand it to them so that they can see my name and contact information on the front. I hand it to them with the back where the mission statement is, and I go, read that. And they read it, and every time the response is pretty much the same. Oh, I get that.
It's perfect.
That's what a mission statement is hopefully supposed to accomplish. Whether it's for those types of situations, but it's also for those situations internally as a daily reminder for employees, as new employees come on board. If it's there on the wall, if it's there on the computer screen, if it's on the business card, it's a reminder. And I can't stress enough how effective it is to have that. And it doesn't need to be preachy, and it doesn't need to be some platitude, some lofty goal. It just needs to clearly define what your business is about, what you're there for, why you come in every day.
What's the benefit? What's the value? And what's the culture? And it can start with just a story. Imagine, a real person making the actual decision to buy what you sell, and they're asking you some questions. How does that process go? And it's surprising generally in that environment how different that conversation is than, which we just mentioned, hey, so what do you do?
What do you do?
It's, so try to imagine when, in your everyday business life, when you're speaking to a prospect or a client or whatever, what really is that conversation when you are denoting the actual value in what it is you really do, as opposed to, well, gee, we manufacture this, and of course that takes this kind of nut and bolt and this type gauge steel, and I don't care what's in it for me, man.
Right.
Tell me why I should do business with you.
Right. It's so that's the first part of moving towards the development of a mission statement is telling that story for yourself, imagining that person that you're trying to connect with and sell your product or your service. Is imagine it from their point of view. What is the story that brings them to you, that they decide, they identify whatever it is that you provide that they need? What is the situation? If you sell widgets, what gets them to that point in time where they go, I need one of these, I need to find that company, how do I find them, and what, if there's a lot of competition, what separates you from the competition so that they choose you? So that's the story, right? And you don't have to write it down, but just think in terms of not why you got into business, that's important, but at the first stage, think about what people's perceptions are and what creates that situation in their life that draws them to your product or service.
Yeah, define what about your business is going to make your customer's life better.
Exactly.
Why is that?
Exactly.
And why you and not the people south or north or west of you, whatever, doing primarily the same thing.
Absolutely. I mean, and so now you can begin to see the value of an effective mission statement, because if it sets you apart from the competition, it's going to actually be beneficial for you and your employees. So I guess that brings us to, step 2 in the process, which is kind of where we are heading anyway. We're so talented that way. Anyway, it's about what you offer the consumer that's going to improve their life. And how do you include that aspect into your mission statement? I mean, again, what is our mission statement? It's about partnering with people and helping them make better decisions so they make more money, so they're more profitable. So what can you say about your business that resonates with your clients that's going to tell them in the blink of an eye how it's going to benefit them?
Yeah, I mean,
whatever it is.
A lot of times that can be based on what is happening in society in general.
We sell paint that will stick to the walls longer than anybody else's. If that's what you have and that's what you do, why wouldn't you put it out there? As a consumer, I go, that's great to know. I want paint that's going to last longer than all the others. It's going to stick longer. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Well, but break it down, and trying to find that niche as well. I mean, how many chain restaurants are there in the world? More than 3.
Yes.
But take them all in. The one that stands out for me recently would be, and I'll name names, Panera Bread. Yeah, it's a panini, it's a sandwich, but all of our food is 100% clean. It's clean, and that's a niche, and that's something, a big segment of the population and that particular generation is going to go, I get that. That's for me. That's where I'm going.
That's where I'm going.
It's still a sandwich and a cup of soup, but this particular sandwich and a cup of soup is clean.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's not much more to say on that. Again, I can't emphasize enough. It's not rocket science. Boil it down. Keep it simple. And again, that's what gets people bogged down in not developing a mission statement. And let me back up and say that a mission statement is, at the very essence of it, is a living, breathing entity or statement, or however you want to categorize it. It doesn't, once you get it in place, nothing says you can't modify it and change it as the times change and as they warrant. And as people come across it, they might say, I had the opportunity to do that just the other day.
Right.
Is they had a mission statement, and as I had gotten to know this client, I thought, what do you think about maybe adding this in there? And they went, you know what, that's a great idea. So it was a result of the fact that I identified something that they hadn't identified in a business that was evolving. So again, it's your friend. It can move and groove. It can breathe.
Yeah, and again, if you've never crafted a mission statement, it can be a fun team building exercise to put everybody in the room and just start rocking and rolling. Writing stuff on a whiteboard or one of them fancy big screens hooked up to one of them laptops. You know what I'm talking about. There, I'm aging myself. But yeah, it can be a really fun exercise, and just put it out there, put it together, then polish it and redefine it and come back to it and move this around and that around. And it can be a real proactive, fun experience too.
Or it can be a nightmare. It's all up to you. But let's think positive, right?
We've seen grown men run screaming from the room.
We have. Flames. It's just women and children. Anyway, so that, again, he's a master at leading into the next step, is thinking in terms of how that mission statement speaks to the business and the employees. Because a mission statement isn't just meant to be for public, consideration. It's meant to resonate internally as well. And so you need to take into consideration your business and what it does for its employees. And it can't just be it provides them a paycheck. Okay, if that's all you've got your employees motivated to come to work for, you've got bigger problems than developing a mission statement. So hopefully there's more going on in whatever your business is, and you've got employees. And let me say too, if you're a one-person shop, this still applies to you because you're in a sense the only employee. And again, what does your business do for your employees? What motivates them? What brings them to the office or the shop every day? Beyond that paycheck and beyond the benefits. Because if it's only that, they won't stay there very long.
Yeah, it helps actually start building that foundation for that culture. What's the culture of your company, of your business? That mission statement should denote that element as well.
Absolutely. And again, I think some of the best mission statements I've seen take into account that culture aspect. And when you have that, it really goes a long way to assuring your employees that they're valuable, that they're taken into consideration, and that they matter. And when they see that every day, they're reminded of it every day. And then, as an owner, you don't necessarily have to get out of bed every day and come to work and remind them. They can just read it on there.
That's it. This is who we are. This is what we do.
Yeah,
this is it.
Go golf, business owner. You've written up a great mission statement. Think of it in terms of that.
And if you want to have some fun, and I did this a couple of years ago, I actually Googled bad mission statements, not really knowing what I'd find, but it was hilarious. And a lot of them were from some pretty major companies that just droned on and on with it was like, I don't even know what you're talking about, but man, that looks impressive.
And that brings up a great point right now, Dan, is brevity. Less is more.
Oh, yeah.
There are mission statements, even good mission statements, that fill half the page. And, in some cases I've seen that it might be necessary or appropriate, but not often. In fact, usually not. And you can take it and whittle it down. And then it's okay if it expands and expands. But we'll get to that step at the end. Think in terms of let's say it in the fewest words possible. And those words also need to include not just only thinking about how the business matters to the employees, but what the business does for the owners. What does it do for you?
And don't just make it up because it sounds impressive. It needs to be you. It needs to be you. I mean, it's
genuine.
Yeah, it just does. Otherwise, you're living a lie. You're living a lie.
Well,
and I've seen that too.
Yeah, well, we won't go there. There's a lot of people doing that.
Anyway, no, but there should be that aha moment though when you're crafting that and getting it down. That at some point, because you have to live with it, and generally a mission statement is going to be utilized in various ways, from screensavers to business cards, et cetera, et cetera. You should love it.
Well, absolutely,
Yeah.
because if it comes across as disingenuous, or it doesn't marry up with how you actually execute, you walk the walk, talk the talk kind of thing.
Yep.
If that mission statement, disappears from what you do as a business owner and how you operate, and people call you on it, then you're right. If it's set in stone, so to speak, it may be a living, breathing document, but once it's in print, it's going to take a while for you to get it out of there and change it up to match up so that you don't get called on it and people go, you know what, I look at your mission statement, that's not what you're about. That's not how you conducted our relationship.
Exactly.
And I call foul. And you don't want that to happen. So be genuine about it. And as an owner, you may even find that aha moment is one of such self-reflection that it's you may have one of those epiphanies.
I'm just picking this up telepathically here.
Exactly.
So I'm laughing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so once you've got everybody at the table and you've talked about the story that might relate to your business as it relates to your customers and how they might come to find you, how you might come into their lives, so to speak, and what experience they hope to have when they make that connection with you, how the employees are going to reflect back on those customers, what you would like them to reflect, how it benefits you as an owner, what your goal is. Take all of that, and now it's time to share it, refine it, edit it, polish it, review it, sleep on it.
You're probably going to want refreshments in a deli tray brought in.
Absolutely.
Party atmosphere. That's how it works. And hopefully, hey, if you're looking for guidance, you're looking for some professional help, feel free to call us. Right here at Complete Media, I'm Dan Ferris.
I'm Michael Williamson.
And we partner with smart business leaders to increase their profits by executing smart marketing strategies.